Hi, today's guest is Pamela Wilson. Let's welcome her and get to know her story. Thanks for being on the show. Do you go by
Thank
Pam or
you.
do you go by Pamela?
I go by Pamela. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, I definitely prefer Pamela. There's a
Yeah,
story attached to that, but it's not that interesting. So, Pamela.
that's okay. See, so I put Edward on everything so that when people call and they ask for Edward Parcaut or however they never get my last name right, I know they don't know me and my staff knows that and everybody else who answers the phone knows that. So,
It's like your filter. I love it.
yeah. But now everybody knows that. So they call, can I talk to Ed?
Yeah, you have to not say that publicly for that to work, Ed.
Yeah. Well, the people call me, they're not watching my stuff.
Right.
All right. So you came to me through Podmatch, right? Which is a
Hmm.
great connection place. And I read up on you a little bit, but how did you get into this area? Because I'm sure you haven't been here your whole life.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm in the online space, and the online space hasn't been here my whole life, at least. I
Mine
started,
either.
yeah, so I started
As I
offline.
always joke, thank you, Al Gore.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. It's always nice when somebody invents the internet, right? So,
Right. Yeah.
um,
For the
so
30% of the people who are too young who don't understand that, too bad.
I know. It's a good joke though. We lived it, so we know how it works. So, I started in the offline space. I started my business actually 30 years ago. I'm celebrating 30 years this
Wow.
year, and I started as a marketing and design studio. So it was like a service-based business. And then I started my online business in 2010. So I've been in the online space since just after the internet was invented. And what I do now is I help people in I say mid career, basically mid career, midlife, to build profitable online businesses. And I'm kind of on a mission to help them make like actual money online.
All
And
right. I
it's
need your
partly,
help. I need your
yeah,
help.
yeah. Okay, good. Well,
I'm
we
not
should talk.
monetizing my stuff yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I'm so glad you said that because that is the typical problem that people figure out how to make content. I wrote, you can see him over my shoulder over here. I wrote two
If
books
you
on
if you
content
had that
marketing.
if you had the thing I have, you could
I
back it up.
know
You could see it.
I could manually switch my camera, but yeah, I wrote two books on content marketing. It's the Master Content series. And I've created courses about branding and creating imagery for your online business and all this. But what I realized, and this was kind of the mistake that I made, is I realized that I was teaching people how to build the facade of their business, but not really how to generate revenue with their business. So, all of those things are important. I mean, your branding is important, your content is important, of course, but you can have all of those things and not actually have a business. So once I realized this, I realized that what I really needed to help people with was how to create an actual offer that people would pay for so that they could generate revenue with this online business and all this online content that they were spending time creating. So that's what I'm kind of on a mission to do. And the people I help are in mid career. So they're people like you and I who have a lot of expertise. They're really subject matter experts, and they just haven't figured out how to turn that into an offer that generates really great online revenue.
Right. I mean, because content for me, right? If you go back to look at my stuff, 2 years ago there was no content, right? I my radio show, we actually when we were live for the first 2 years, I was pre-COVID because 2020 March of 2020 they shut down the studio. We had to go to our own home, and then we started using Zoom. So we do have video from that, but previous to that, I actually had people come in. They would record us in studio. That would be put on the YouTube channel for the Real Estate Jerky Show, but I didn't do it under me. I didn't do any content
Right,
under me. And then
right.
fast forward to a year and a half ago, we're in the middle of COVID. What do you do? Let's start making some content. Let's start a podcast, Inner Edison, and start. Then the software finally caught up to where you can do video at the same time, right? So I have 60 or so episodes, but I have more than that. But no one was doing video at that time. How to when you were doing your podcast, it was all audible. Like I want to say audio. There we go. There's a
Audio,
word I was looking.
right.
I knew it'd come out. All right. So anyway, so basically, but you need the content built before you could do anything, right? No,
Not, not,
that's.
I'm just
I'm
thinking
asking
about
a
that. I'm like,
question.
yeah,
What?
no, I'm like, I mean,
Well, you got to
not
figure out
that,
what
not
you're good at, and you got
necessarily.
to make that content in order for people to buy it from you or want your
I
services,
mean,
right?
if you're 20, you do.
Oh,
But
okay.
you know, so the people I help have expertise already. They already come to the table with expertise. And I think the mistake that I make that, I was making it myself and I was teaching it. I was executive vice president of educational content for Copyblogger. I don't know if you know what that company is, but it was like a leader in the digital marketing space at the time that I was working for them. So I was teaching their whole community how to do content marketing, how to do branding, how to do all of that, sort of the facade of your business, the outer presence of your business. But what I saw was all of these smart people who had a lot of expertise, who knew what they were good at. They already knew. And they couldn't figure out how to package that up into an offer that they could sell. And until you have an offer that you can sell and that people are buying consistently, you don't actually have a business. You just have like a content factory,
Right.
right? So
And
I'm
that's what I
kind of
have.
on it. Well, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just at some point you have to do the work to create an offer. And it's work. I mean, it's not easy. I have a process I take people through that makes it easier, but it's not sort of intuitive. It's not something that you can people want to tell you it's super easy, but if you want to create an offer that's really high value that generates really good revenue for your business, then I think you need to go through a process where you're testing, you're checking to make sure that your audience actually is responding to your offer, that they are achieving some sort of transformation from your work. You need to go through that process, but it's worth it because honestly, Ed, it takes as much effort to create a lower value offer as it does to create a high value offer. It's a process, but it's doable and it's worth it. It's worth it because once you get that going, then you have this nice revenue coming into your business consistently. And what I try to help people to do is create an offer that generates between $10,000 and $20,000 a month from that offer alone. So this is not the $17 ebook or the $97 whatever, or even the $997 whatever. It's really something that's high value that packages their expertise and presents it in a way that they're making a big difference in people's lives and they can charge for it.
I think a lot of people have a problem figuring out what they're good at, and the fact that people might want to be coached by them or whatever that thing they're going to do. I think that where you have all these coaches out there that are cheerleaders who have no idea. I'm a 20-year-old coach. What life experience have you had to coach
Yeah,
somebody? Right.
right.
I mean, and that's the thing is you have all
Those
these
are all
people.
the people that are in my DMs. Actually, they're like, "Can you tell me what your biggest struggle is?" I'm like, "Actually, I don't have a lot of struggles at the moment, but thank you for asking."
Yeah, having young people ask me what my biggest struggle is through Instagram Messenger.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
know.
biggest struggle.
Yeah, my biggest struggle is managing my DMs from all of y'all, but
That's right.
yeah, I agree that I think it's particularly hard to figure out what you're good at when you're in our age group and you have so many options to choose from because you can't get to be this age and not have like a list of things that you've developed expertise around, right? Things that you're just good at. And so part of the problem is just figuring out like, of the things I could do, what should I do? What will people pay for? How can I present it in a way that people understand the value that I'm going to give to them? It's almost like an embarrassment of riches situation. Like there's almost too much to choose from. I think when you're 20, you don't know what you're good at because honestly, you're just not that good at that many things because you're 20, you're just starting out. But once you get to be a little bit older, you do have a lot of expertise.
Gotcha. No, I mean, because I know sales, right? I've been in the mortgage industry for 20 some years. So I know how to sell. I know how to do, there's so many things I know how to do. And the question is, because I was asked to give a speech at one of the person I was telling you about, Steve D. Sims' speakeasy a while back. And so I did it on on basically when you're in sales, people say the reason people don't want to buy is because they just don't know. KNOW, which I thought was the dumbest freaking thing in my life every time I heard that. So I said, okay, so I changed it into knowledge needed to overcome waiting. Right. They just don't know. They
Mm-hmm.
don't so I changed it to that. And that was my talk. It wasn't the greatest talk, but a lot of people liked it. And, but I hadn't been on stage in 15 years. And now he's like, okay, I want you to do a different one. And it was on pain points because I was talking to Joel Weldon. Do you know who Joel Weldon is? He's the speaker
That's
coach to
another
this.
name
Yeah. He's a speaker. He's a top speaker, but he's like a coach for all the speakers. And I was interviewing on Inner Edison. That's not coming out for about, I don't know, 12 weeks. Have a few in the can. But he said you should do it on the pain points because you're telling me how you built your business, and every time there was an issue, you made sure that it would never happen again, and how you made sure that the process so you could close a loan in 9 days. I'm like, oh, okay. And he goes, because you can relate pain points and everything to every industry, whether you're first getting in or whether you've been in forever. And it doesn't matter if you're insurance or whatever, you're just selling the pain points of the transaction for anybody. How do you get those out? But my biggest problem is just writing the speech. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
I can talk in front of anybody for hours, anything about mortgages or real estate. I don't even have to have a speak. You just go. I did it today earlier at a sales meeting. But this other stuff, which I don't talk about all the time, it's a problem.
Right. And that's exactly, one of the things that I do in the program I have is I help people to identify their strengths, because there's no reason to develop an offer around areas where you don't have expertise. So in your case, I would say don't create written content, create content where you're speaking. Just lean on the strength that you already possess. Because again, people in our age group, like we're good at certain things. We have expertise. And then there are certain things that we're good at. People enjoy speaking more than writing, or other people enjoy writing more than speaking, or others are comfortable on video. And so you have to kind of use the skills that you've already developed to create that offer, because why do it the hard way? Why not do it the easy way, right?
But if you're going to talk on stage for 10 minutes, you have to have the speech put together so you know what you're talking about, right? Just because you have to have, like he talks about, this little quick 60-second to go back to if you lose your train of thought. You can always go back to that. You have 5 of different ones for what you're speaking about. So that way, if you lose your train of thought, because we always sometimes can lose our train of thought. So
yeah, you have that audience looking at you, and it's
that's nothing. That's no big deal. Not anymore.
No.
After I've been doing these lives and all this stuff, that's not the issue.
Right.
It's just remembering, because I'm so used to talking about the same stuff all the time. I don't have to think. I just open my mouth and it goes. When I want to talk about stuff that I used to talk about all the time and help my employees sell better, or the salespeople, that was automatic because it was in there. But but I haven't done that in a while. So.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
But this is not about me. I'm just trying to help for what you're trying to sell and tell people. So basically, you're saying you find out what we are good at, right? So do you have us take an assessment test? How do you figure this out? If somebody wants to go through this, because this is amazing, because there's a lot of people who want to do this, but they don't know how to get started. They don't know what they should utilize on and get people to pay for.
Yeah, exactly. I do have an assessment. It's on my website, PamelaWilson.com. So that is a great place to start, because one of the things that assessment does is it helps you figure out where you are in your business right now, and so sort of identify your needs right now. So that, I think, is a great place to start. But once people are in my program, we go through this process of, you're going to laugh. You're going to laugh because well, here we go. Market research. So you say the word market research, and the average person is like, I have no idea what that is. It sounds like scientists with clipboards. I don't know how to do that.
No, that's when they call you all the time on the phone and say, we're doing a survey, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or they think it's that, right? But market research is pretty important for you to understand who you could actually serve with these offer ideas that you have knocking around in your head. So I call it market exploration, and I have a process that makes it kind of fun, where you're just using the internet basically to look around and see how your customer is talking about their problems, how they are feeling like they're not served by the existing offers out there, so that you can start thinking about, okay, what's out there now is not doing this thing, and maybe I could fill the gap and provide this thing that's missing in the market. So that's what I do at first is I work with people to identify their strengths, and then we look at the market. It's something that happens in the first week of my program. We do this market exploration, and I literally like sit with them while they do it. So it's not scary. And by the time they finish it, most people feel really good about entering into that market that they want to enter into. So there's an intimidation factor that happens that people are like, how can I, there's so many existing offers out there that promise the same thing I want to do. How can I do this? And I help people to find this angle that differentiates what they want to do from everything else that's out there. It's actually kind of fun. People say the market exploration process of the program is actually fun.
So basically, you help people because not all these people have their business. They've just been doing things for a while and they want to start a business. So they don't know about how to check who your customers are, who you need to be, the market research that you normally do. So I have my degrees, bachelor's in marketing and master's in international business and marketing. So I understand market research. I understand finding out who your customer is and all that stuff. Just because I said that doesn't mean I do it all the time. Right.
Right.
Because for me, I'm in the mortgage industry. So my customers are elderly for reverse mortgages, right? The ones that are coming of age, and we're doing that. I'm definitely not going after refinances right now when the rates went up. And I never did really market for that. The other thing is just, going to certain agents, certain people who are producing, and I go directly to them, talk to them, and create relationships a little different. What you're talking about this is people out there looking for something that you have a skill for that they need because nobody else is feeling that skill at this time.
Yes. However, I mean, just to clarify, the people that I help.
No, you're close. You don't have to say yes, but no, maybe.
No, I mean, everything you're saying is accurate, but the people that I help typically do have online businesses. They have created offers, but now they're at the point and they've gathered an audience. They've been creating content either on a social platform, they've built their email list. So they have an audience, but they've never developed like a high value offer for that audience. And the reason I make them go through the market exploration process again is that when you're trying to sell a higher value offer, the customer is a little bit different, right? And it makes sense to go back and really look at your market again and research it and see what is out there now when you're entering in it at a different price point. So it's, I get a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't want to do market research again. Like, I don't want to develop my customer avatar. I don't want to think about my ideal customer. I've already done that. But I really encourage people to do that again because they always uncover new information that gives them a lot of confidence. So that's a starting point. And then from there, what we work on is developing a test offer and this is something else I'm really passionate about. It's kind of a reaction to everything I saw online over all these years. People sell these courses and programs that get you to create a product, like a full-blown product with all the bells and whistles and all the features and everything without testing it, without ever testing to see if that thing you want to create is actually going to work for your audience and develop, a following and deliver the transformation that you want to deliver. Like, nobody teaches testing. So that's what I'm teaching in my program is a way to develop an offer quickly, I call it my Smart Start method. So it's basically a test version of your offer that you sell like for money in less than 30 days. So we go from I have an idea to I have something I can test and sell in less than 30 days. And you start getting feedback immediately and you can start iterating and improving on it and building on it. And that helps people to get past that kind of feeling like I can't do this. I don't want to start. I'm feeling intimidated. We just dive right in. We dive right in and get it done. And because they're starting to get feedback, they get excited about all the possibilities.
Wow. So all right. So you said most of the people you deal with already have an online, but what if you're dealing with somebody, they have a store online or they have something they're offering online already, but do you work with people who don't?
I work with people who don't have online businesses in a different program. I have a program it's like a self-study program, and it's for people who are just starting out. I need my domain name. I need to create a
Oh,
website. I need to, that's a separate program because it's a different thing, right? So I have a lot of material in that program and people can take that and hopefully they graduate from that and they come into this more advanced program. But the people who come into this more advanced program, I ask them in the application whether or not they have an audience already. And I want people to have an audience. I mean, I don't really advertise this, but I want people to at least have gathered like 500 people either
on
on a
there.
YouTube channel. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Most people at your level are. And people who are at your level, they're the ones who can really make the most out of a program like this because you have people who already know what you do. They like you. You have built like a trusted relationship with them and they're ready to see what you're going to deliver to them that's going to help them, right? So those are the people who do the best in this program because we, like I said, kind of hit the ground running. So we don't have time for you to like build your email list before you sell your offer. You need to kind of come in with that so that we
I don't
can
have
start.
email lists.
Well, but you know what I mean. Like I don't have time to in that one first month of the program. I don't have time for you to like build your audience. Quick, Ed, build your audience and then we'll sell something to them. No. You need to arrive on my doorstep with an audience established and then I can show you how to sell a high value offer to that audience.
But here's my next. So say someone, I want to do this. I've never been really on. Okay. So 8 months ago, my Instagram had 500 people.
Yeah.
Right now I have 30,000. I'm now not saying, but what I know from Instagram and other people, you still have 800 people who really listen to you, right? And who know
Right.
you. I don't care how many people you can have 2 million, you still have 686 or 700 who are going to do anything, right? The rest of them are just fluff. So it doesn't matter if you only have 800 or 600 on Instagram and TikTok and those things, because those are the people who want to connect with you. Right.
Yes.
When you
Yeah.
start getting more and more and more and more, they just want to follow you, but they never will look at you again.
Right.
Right.
Right. So, one of the reasons that I teach creating a higher value offer, like a higher ticket offer, is that you don't have to have a million people actually engaging and paying attention. You don't have to sell that many this is like Captain Obvious, right? But you don't have to sell that
No, it's
many
not
to
for
make it.
most people. Yeah. It's not for
Okay.
most
So, you
people. They
don't have
don't
to sell that
understand that.
many of a higher value offer in order to generate really great revenue with your online business. If you have an offer that you're charging $7,500 for, do the math and figure out how much you want to earn each month. And you don't have to sell that many of a $7,500 offer to make a really great living, right?
Right.
So that's why I have really focused on that kind of offer because I just find that you put the work in, but then you can really reap the benefits because you have something that people will pay a high ticket for.
Gotcha. All right. What else? Because
Well, I
I'm
can,
listening because I've been pushing about me. So this is now everybody else. No, but
yeah,
I think that people need to understand if people are following you for who you are and what you do, and then you have an offer, you can make a lot of money off just 700 people who really are connected to you versus
yes.
30,000 who aren't, or a million who aren't. You're not going to get anything. It's a way. It doesn't matter how much you build. I've seen people go, I'm going to get 100,000 on my YouTube channel. Why?
I know we should riff on that for a few minutes because I'll tell you what, I have tried to go to my local bank with my followers and make a deposit with my followers, and my bank won't take them. You're, it's a vanity metric. We all know that. But in the end, what really matters is that small number of people who are really engaged and who really want to do something with you. They're ready to like go to the next level. And I should also say like all of those people who are not super engaged, that doesn't mean that 6 months or a year from now They don't say, "Oh, that's right. That guy Ed, he talks about this. I should start paying attention to him again." I've had people who've been on my email list for years before they actually buy something from me. So, you can't write off people that aren't engaging in the moment. The timing just might be off for them. So, yes, build an audience, but also build a really great offer that you can sell them that will make you a lot of money. That's what I encourage people to do.
Right. I mean, the problem is influencers are people with 10,000 or more followers on Instagram. It's like once they threw that out there, then everybody thinks they need to get to that, you know, but I don't think it really matters. And I'm
It
talking, and I'm
Yeah.
saying it. I just got lucky because it was weird. Steve D. Sims spoke. When I did those nuggets we were talking about, I had him do one at traffic and conversion. Oh my God, I had so many people reach out to me and want to after that because I was
Yeah.
that whole thing and blew up my face, the Facebook. I'm sorry, Facebook and all that stuff. What I mean? Just a joke being old. The Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's connecting with people, and then you connect with their people and that kind of stuff, and that's what's important. But you need to have the right followers that are going to want to interact with you.
Yes, the right followers, and I think, then have something, really get to know them and create something that they want and need, right? That's the idea. I am a little cynical, I guess, but I see these social platforms pushing the influencer idea and all of this. And it's a little bit like the dog races in the cartoons anyway. They have the dog races and the dog was like running after a ham or something. It feels a little bit like they have us all running around a track after this thing that we're never going to actually catch because it's always just out of our reach. So I don't know. I think there's an aspect of it that is beneficial to the platforms. Um, in the end, I'm a business person. I've been a business person for 30 years. So I'm really clear that in the end, what matters is the revenue that my business generates, right? And I'm very focused on that. And that's what I encourage people to focus on in my audience as well. I mean, followers are great and subscribers are awesome and all of that is great, but in the end, if you're not running a charity, you're running a business, and your business has to generate revenue. So you got to figure out your offer.
Right. And I totally agree. All I'm trying to get at is the fact that sometimes people want to see that you're credible, right?
Yes.
I'm on radio, so I must know what the heck I'm talking about when I'm on radio, right? It's an automatic authority, right, in that space. And that's what I think people look to because that's what they hear is important. They don't hear that that's not really important.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think, but I don't know. Do you feel like people are becoming more aware that it's not as important? Because I'm sensing that people are kind of realizing like, oh, that's actually not a good way to judge whether or not somebody is
Well, the
trustworthy.
Well, the thing about like YouTube, that no longer is it how many subscribers you have, whether your videos go up, right? That you were talking
Yes.
beforehand, how their shorts are they're pushing their shorts. So if you do shorts, you're in front of everybody else, and they're boosting your short and getting it in front of everybody. I've had more people reach out to me recently from that over the weekend, calling me and going, "Hey, I saw you on YouTube, and I want this or this and this." I'm like, "What?" I know I've
Yeah.
been building it, but it just was shocking that people were reaching out or talking about or asking me questions about certain things, which hadn't been before. So,
Yeah, whenever they come out with a new feature, the platforms always seem to sort of favor people who come out early and use that feature. So, yeah, Shorts is big right now on YouTube.
yeah, I mean, and I'm on TikTok, which we talked about earlier, and it's good. I'm amazed how many of my videos went viral in the beginning because it has nothing to do with your followers, and that's what I
Yeah.
like. They've changed all that. It doesn't matter how many people you have; they just start putting those out there. It depends on how good it is. But back to your services and away from those things. All right,
Yeah.
so we talked about what you offer and what you're looking for. Did I miss anything?
I brought a really cool Thomas Edison quote to you. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm kind of a documentary nerd. I love them. It's like my favorite kind of television to consume. So I've seen a lot about Thomas Edison. There's a lot about his work and, who he was as a person, for better or for worse. So I found this quote and I thought it was really, really cool. So he had facilities all over the US and finally settled on Menlo Park, New Jersey. It was close to New York City, very accessible, but it was kind of quiet and off the beaten path. So he built this facility in Menlo Park, New Jersey, and he had this big staff of people who he welcomed the first day that he opened it. And he said, and I love this, "We make a minor invention every 10 days and a major one every 6 months." And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I mean, it's awesome on a couple of levels. First of all, he had this different approach to inventing things, which involved a team. And I love that idea that we could be working together and that the sum of the parts is greater than the individuals, right? But this idea also that we can sort of come up with something major every 6 months or so. It's interesting to me that you said some of these new content efforts that you're going through have developed pretty recently and they've really taken off. So I just think the internet is a beautiful place for that kind of invention, for inventing as a team and for kind of reinventing every so often and trying new things. It's a great environment for that.
No, I totally agree. And Pamela Wilson, thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been great to talk to you. Thanks, Ed.
Oh, no, you don't understand. I know you said it's a pleasure to be on, because me, it's a pleasure to have you on. You don't understand. All right. And again, if you guys enjoy what we do here, just follow like we always ask you to do. And again, thank you so much for being here today, Pamela, and everybody else. Thank you again.
Thanks, Ed.